I have a feeling that the industry at some point is going to have to change, because the music industry is so fragmented today because of new technology. Now it is highly possible for an average musician or songwriter to make a very good living, and I mean very good, 6 figures or more a year, without being signed to a major record label. It is highly possible. And this is how fragmented, and this is why they're also, because record sales have dropped, and you know, the major stars are not making as much. Some that have been around for a long time aren't making as much as they used to. So they're kind of cracking down and paying more attention to this stuff. And maybe at some point, you know, the record companies, they might go away. They might be dinosaurs. I don't know. But it is what it is. Hey, Lindsey Graham says that as president, he would veto any bill without path to citizenship. This is from the Washington Times. And Lindsey Graham is, well, he's a rhino. He's a Republican in name only. We get it. We understand it. But for him to actually say any bill without look, they did that with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, after he got out of office, to his grave, was sorry that he fell into that trap and went along with the amnesty that he went along with. Yeah, because that was one thing, his whole thing was trust but verify. That was one thing that he failed to verify before he trusted with Congress. Because, Congress said, yeah. Hey, Ronnie boy, we're going to fix the border. We're going to close it down. We're not going to have this problem ever again. And Ronald said, good old Ronnie said, well, okay, if we're going to fix the issue and we're never going to have to revisit this issue again, I'll sign it into law. And then he did it. The Democrats, rubbed their hands together and said, he bought it. And he did. And he regretted it. And now we've got Lindsey Graham coming around saying, if I'm president, then I'm going to veto any bill without passing. No, Lindsey. You kick them out. You round them up and you kick. Look, I find it amazing that we have so many people who say, Rod, we can't find 11 million people and round him up and kick him out of the country. Really? But we can come up with a plan to, some of you libertarians who believe in this conspiracy theory stuff, that we can round up, half the population of the country then. We can't find and round up 11 million people, but we can round up 150 million people and stick them in detention camps. Yeah. How is that possible? Well, we don't have to pick and choose. You don't have to pick and choose with finding an illegal. You know where they are. You know how to find them. It just takes the will to do so. It's not very hard, actually, to find illegals, because if they come here and they're trying to find work, it's easy to flag them. With today's technology, and if our government can tap into our phone lines and pick up our phone conversations on our cell phone through metadata and through just snapping it out of the air and storing it, they can do the same thing with trying to pick out who's an illegal and who's not, with other types of documentation, like Social Security number. Oh, wait a minute. This person is dead. Well, how are they working again? Or wait a minute, this person is working over here in this state and working over here in this state. How is that possible? It's not difficult to find most of these people. It just takes the will to do so. But likely Republican presidential candidate predicted Thursday that the GOP will lose 2016 presidential election unless they win over Hispanic voters. That is not the truth either. I don't know look, you're not going to win over liberals. You're not going to win over liberals. You have fallen into this trap time and time and time and time again. If we don't do this, then this minority that normally votes liberal is going to vote liberal if we don't do it. But if we do it, they're going to like us. No, they're not. They're not. You got to stand on. They're going to respect you for standing on principle. And quite frankly, this whole notion that the Latino vote is going to go automatically Democrat if we do this, if we go along, or excuse me, if we don't go along with it, then I don't know, where do Cruz and Rubio and all their Latino supporters come from then? They've got a massive following in their communities. The whole point is we do not have to do what Democrats do. In other words, we've got to go on the offensive. Lindsey is still over there trying to play defense. You know when the most points are scored in football? Is when teams go to a prevent defense later in the game. No. All we're trying to do, we'll give up a few yards. We just got to keep them from scoring. And what happens is a team marches down the field because they know that they're going to get a few yards each time. All they need to do is get enough to get to the first down, and then they need enough yardage of the next 3 or 4 plays to get to the first down again. And even if they don't get a touchdown, they get close enough where they can score a field goal. And that's what the prevent defense is really all about, is just keeping them from scoring a touchdown. But they give up too much in between. The teams that limit the amount of scoring in the fourth quarter do not go to a prevent defense. And I know I just mentioned football, and no, I'm not going to talk about Tom Brady. I know some people are asking, well, what do you think of Tom Brady? He's a good-looking, wealthy guy married to a beautiful woman. That's all I think about. Who cares? It's not important. Whether or not Tom Brady cheated during, the playoff games or ever is not important. Let the NFL take care of it. I don't care. I mean, people are more worried about whether Tom Brady cheated or not than over what Lindsey Graham is just saying. And over what any of the other people who are running for office are saying. Tom Brady's more important. I mean, I'm listening to Rush and to Sean Hannity, and I'm thinking, these guys are taking up not only minutes, but hours on this site. Are you kidding me? What? How is that going to determine any sort of foreign policy? It's not. How is that going to determine any sort of domestic policy? It's not. But everybody's wrapped up and preoccupied with Tom Brady and Deflategate and whatever that crap was. I don't care. It wasn't. I don't care if Tom Brady, plays with 11.5 pounds of pressure on instead of 11.6 pounds. It isn't going to change the game on him. They still would have won all the games that they won. They still would have been Super Bowl champions. But you're going to tell me that's more important than Lindsey Graham saying, well, if I'm president, I'm not going to sign any bill that doesn't come with a path to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, we've got more than 4 million people in the world who are waiting to come here legally. And they will get boxed out. They're trying to do things the right way, and they will, because they want to come here, they want to assimilate, they want to make a contribution, but they're going to get boxed out. And you know why they're going to get boxed out? Because most of that 4 million that come here, they're going to be Republican or conservative voters when they finally become citizens. Because they're coming from countries where they don't trust government in the first place. That's the whole point. Lindsey Graham just doesn't seem to want to get that. If he thinks that he is trying to win over some votes, what he needs to do is find a way to get those 4 million that are waiting legally over here. And set them on a quick path to citizenship, because they'll be conservative voters. But no. We're told we're buying the lie from the left. Well, if you don't get these people onto a path to citizenship, eventually they will be citizens and they're not going to vote for you. They're not going to vote for you anyway. Because they're the kind of people that come here and get all the goodies. And the only people handing out the goodies are the liberals. But see, that 4 million that's waiting, they don't want the goodies. They're coming here for the opportunity to contribute and to make their own way because they cannot do it in their own country. Plain and simple. They don't want government good. They don't even want it. They don't want the government coming to their doorstep if they can get away with it. They want to be left alone. Especially those people coming from, very oppressive government places like from Asian countries. Or where the economy is so bad, like that's what Indians from India used to want to come here because they had no opportunity in India. Now that is changing in India, but before they had absolutely zero. They came here for education, and most of them stayed because the opportunity to utilize and make good on the education that they came here for is still here. And now Lindsey's out there wanting to say, hey, you know what? I'd veto any bill that came to my desk without a path to citizenship. Well, I say this is exactly why you're not going to be elected president. You're not going to get the nomination. So, Lindsey, please do not even enter the race. Because that is a bunch of BS. You stupid rhino. Look, I'm going to be hitting these people hard. And if you like Lindsey Graham, I'm not sorry that I'm hitting him. He is a rhino. He's a Republican in name only. He would probably be more comfortable on the Democratic side, although he'd be considered one of those conservative Democrats, but he'd still be more comfortable on the Democratic side. And you know what? I think that's where he should go. Because he sure isn't standing up for the Constitution and the laws of this country when he's saying, I'd veto a bill without any path to citizenship. No, me as president, I'd veto any bill that came across my desk that doesn't have get rid of the illegals because they broke the law, send them packing. That's the kind of thing that I would veto if that didn't come across my desk. Because I'm not going to reward people for breaking our country's laws, because I sure as hell can't get away with it going into Mexico. I sure as hell can't get away with it going into Canada. So why should we let all these people come over illegally across our southern border, keep our borders porous, and then reward them? Oh, yeah. Folks, these people, I tell you, they I don't know what else to say about this, but you know what? I'm out of time for tonight. Have a great weekend, folks, and we'll be back here Monday, so don't miss out. I'm Rod Eccles. This is the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.